afternoon and welcome to our midday briefing. Today is Tuesday, 4th of August. Before we start taking your questions, just a reminder that Commissioner Brunner will be in this press room at 1 for a press conference following this morning's extraordinary VTC of Home Affairs Ministers. We therefore invite you to keep your questions on migration and in particular on the VTC of the Ministers of Interior for the Commissioners. And with that, let's take your questions. Who wants to start? Go ahead.
Hi, it's a question related to Hungary and the energy crisis. Do you have further information about this electricity coordination group, when it will come together, and what's the scope of the talks?
We keep following and monitoring very closely the situation in Hungary as well as in Romania, Bulgaria and other countries in the region. The low Danube levels will clearly have an impact on nuclear generation along the route, so this concerns several member states. The European Network of Transmission System Operators, the ENTSO-E, has mobilized and is in close contact now with all the national authorities in the impacted countries. And for us, as regards the Commission, we are obviously ready to convene a electricity coordination group as soon as there's a need for that. For that need to emerge, obviously we want to first have a full picture and visibility of what is happening in the impacted countries, whether there is indeed a need to have such a meeting. We are ready to call it ad hoc as soon as the situation would warrant. But for the time being, we're not seeing any security of supply issues. And there's always, as regards nuclear generation, nuclear power, the power plants already have contingency systems in place, and there's also the selling and the exchange of electricity between the member states. We have a very good regional solidarity mechanisms and exchanges. So these are all, obviously, they kick in as soon as there are any situations that so warrant. So at the moment, there hasn't been a need to call a electricity coordination group. We're ready to do it as soon as there is a need. But needless to say, this is being followed very, very closely.
Thanks, Anna. Kaisa, other questions on this topic? Is it on this? Go ahead.
Thank you so much. It's Nicholas Kumar for Euractiv. I understand the Commission is undergoing an overhaul of its energy security of supply framework. Is the Commission now preparing to add nuclear to its framework, given the unreliability of nuclear power plants each summer?
In 2016, we presented a package called Clean Energy for All Europeans, and one part of that was a regulation on risk preparedness in the electricity sector. And this already asks the member states to take into account climate-related risks as well. And it is something that has been already factored in a lot of the work that we do. First of all, to have a full mapping of what is the preparedness of our member states, how climate risks, extreme weather conditions, malicious attacks, fuel shortages, etc., cold spells, heat waves, cyber attacks, how they are already being taken into account in national preparedness. So this is already something that we do have in place. And then, obviously, the drying of Danube, or the phenomenon we're seeing this summer, has an impact on maritime transport as well. So that is also, since 21, we have in place already guidance on climate proofing of infrastructure. So generally speaking, climate risks, extreme weather events, etc., have already been embedded in many of our policies related to energy transport, etc., already for some time. So we will obviously include these aspects in any of our future work as well. But this summer, clearly, already so far has been quite extreme in showcasing all of these risks, how they then materialize.
You have a follow-up?
Yes, thank you so much. It's also to you, I believe, because the president in the past described nuclear as reliable and the source of secure homegrown EU electricity, I believe. Is that a statement that you stand by, given the fact that one country has just overnight lost almost half of its generation capacity? How reliable is it really in that context?
Of course, we stand by that statement. It is about the safety and the security of nuclear. That is one, and then together with that comes the fact that it is homegrown, it is clean, and as I was saying, we have had on the radar already all the possible risks that have to be factored in national planning, and climate risk, because what we are seeing here is not a risk that nuclear would be unreliable or unsafe or anything else. This is basically, it is extreme climate events, extreme weather events now having an impact on reaction capacity, on production capacity. But even now, member states are able to shut down, to lower capacity without immediate security of supply issues. And we have regional frameworks in place where member states can then, a neighbouring country can sell and transmit electricity and energy as needed. So I would not make this somehow to say that nuclear energy is unreliable or unsafe in any way. But what this clearly shows is that that climate events and extreme weather events have to be taken into account in any national risk assessment planning, which is already taking place.
Thanks, Anna-Kaisa. Other questions for Anna-Kaisa, since she's here with me? Yes?
Tatiana Vysotska, European Pravda, Ukraine. Talking about the risk assessment, Hungary is still getting Russian oil via Ukraine, Hungary and Slovakia via Druzhba pipeline. It's a big risk because every day Russia is intensifying the attacks on energy infrastructure of Ukraine, and every day this pipeline may be ruined. How the EU is assessing this problem, for this potential problem and potential risk for Hungary and Slovakia, and when finally the EU is going to present the Repower EU, which will ban Russian oil to Europe for forever. Thank you.
These two issues very much connected. So, first of all, our goal is to ban all Russian energy from European market, and we are well on the way on making this strategy to come to conclusion, to successful conclusion. Russian oil is sanctioned, with the exception of Hungary and Slovakia, and therefore, for the reasons that they have identified when the exemption was negotiated for them, they have the permission and they are allowed to import Russian oil. But of course, we work closely with both Hungary and Slovakia to help them diversify and to help them move away from Russian oil. But for the time being, they have the possibility to do this. And we are also at the same time in parallel working on the proposal to ban Russian oil from the EU, and this is coming in due course.
Thanks, Anna-Kaisa. Other questions for Anna-Kaisa? I have one from remote. Claudia, is it for Anna-Kaisa? Claudia, if you want the floor, you need to press and speak.
Hi, yes, sorry. It was not for Anna-Kaisa, so I can wait.
It's not for Anna-Kaisa then. I couldn't hear you super well. Okay. Other questions for Anna-Kaisa? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Camille Condessu from AFP. I was just wondering if there were any updates on forest fires, if you have anything to announce on Greece, any elements or stuff that you're going to mobilize for Greece. Thanks.
Thanks, Camille. Thanks, Camille. It's actually for Eva, who's back from her holidays, so not for Anna-Kaisa, but I don't see other questions for Anna-Kaisa, so Eva, if you want to join me to reply to Camille.
Good afternoon, everybody. I missed you all.
Strong statement.
So the question was on the update for wildfires. Yes, actually, we have good news about the wildfires because it seems that the situation in France and Spain is getting better. We still have some planes that are on the spot and operating on the ground, but some of them are already coming back. There are still firefighters and vehicles fighting the flames in France and Spain. But as I said, the situation is getting better. Regarding Greece, we are in constant touch with the Greek authorities. Greek firefighters are fighting the flames that are around the country, and we are looking for the options how to help the Greek authorities.
Other questions for Eva on wildfires? Initially, at least. Claudia, is it for Eva?
Hi, yes, with wildfires, but on health. So I wanted to ask about the EU for Health work program. Obviously, countries voted to block it against last week. I wanted to ask if there is an update from the Commission on what it's planning to do. Is it planning to appeal the vote or to come back with another proposal? And maybe if you can give us a bit of insight on how the hold-up and the delay of the approval of the work program is affecting the work, implementations of programs or putting out of calls for proposals, tenders. Just kind of any impact of the delay. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia, for the question. Unfortunately, at this stage, I cannot tell you much because we are now looking for the way how to go about it, how to go forward. We have, as you know, presented the EU for Health work program already on the 22nd of July to member states. This work program supports, obviously, our priorities. And unfortunately, and we regret that the program didn't get the support in the program committee meeting. So now we need to reflect what is the way forward, how to do about it. In every case, we will do everything possible to disburse this money.
Thanks, Eva. Other questions for Eva? Claudia, you have a follow-up. Claudia, if you want the floor, you need to press on speak.
Hi, yes. So, quick follow-up on the second part of the question. Maybe if there's any way you can tell us more, Eva, about, obviously this means that the work programs and budget for the year is kind of held. How is this impacting at all Digisante work? Do you foresee it impacting work for the next, obviously month, maybe until the program is approved? Any examples of maybe anything that's stuck or that can't, that's going to be delayed because of this? If you can share anything on the impact, that'd be great. Thank you.
You know that we were in a similar situation last year and we found a way about it. This is where we aim also this time. So for the moment we are looking for the way forward. You know that in line with the EU for Health regulations and its procedures for the preparation, member states are consulted at several stages with several meetings. This has happened. This was the first occasion for member states that voted on the full draft text. So now, as I said, we reflect on it and we are looking for the way forward.
Thanks, Eva. Other questions for Eva? Not the case. Other questions for us today? Go ahead.
Thank you, Vitaly Sizov, Freedom TV channel. My questions, I think, on maybe foreign affairs. The Russian authorities, they made decision to expel, I think, former executive chief of Russian media agency Russia Today, and this decision was confirmed by the court of France. What do you think about this? And maybe you have some details, legal details, if this person expelled from one EU country, will she have access to other country? Thank you.
Thank you. So when it comes to the Russian journalist, just for the context, this is a matter for the national authorities in France, and we take note of the government's decision. That being said, we know that the said person has also been working for the Russian state-owned outlets, in particular Russia Today. Also, she's a former president, news director of Russia Today France. And as we know, the Russia Today, including RT France, is a well-known propaganda outlet used by the Russian state as an instrument to spread lies about Ukraine and also support Russia's act of aggression, weaponize disinformation and manipulation to undermine our societies. And from our side, the RT Russia Today network has been already sanctioned since 2022 with broadcasting and content distribution prohibition. And on the rest, I cannot comment on possible future moves, also due to the confidential nature of the Council's listings.
Thanks, Anita. Other questions to Anita relating to Ukraine? Not the case. Other questions to Anita on the files she covers? Yes, Magnus, go ahead.
Hello, thank you. Magnus with Euractiv. It's on this Kosovo state-owned company, Ayba Lipinic, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that. The EU Commission in Kosovo has already come out in connection to the demolition of buildings there, and the suspicion that this might be a somewhat targeted effort amongst the Serb minority in northern Kosovo. Does the EU have any further comments on the demolition of these structures? And are you baking up any kind of measures should these demolitions continue? Thank you.
Thank you, Magnus. From our side, we regret the demolition of the houses, especially as the property claims are still under judicial review. And the EU calls on Kosovo institution to halt any further demolitions and also to work with the affected residents and local authorities to find legal and sustainable solutions. And any irreversible steps, including demolitions, should be suspended until the competent court has issued a final ruling on the outstanding claims.
Thanks, Anita. Other questions for Anita on this matter? Let's go to Mose from remote.
Yes, thank you, Mustafa, for assistance. I would like to go back to last week's announcement of a breakthrough in the talks about the implementation of the peace accords to President Trump's peace plan for Gaza. It was welcomed by the European Commission. But obviously, measures have to be synchronized when it comes to Hamas' willingness to disarm and the requirement Israel to restore its troops. Now it seems to be stuck somewhere. I would like to ask, what can the EU do in order to speed up the process and contribute to it? For example, through its deployment of Palestinian policemen, which we know have been trained, thousands of them, I think, by this EUPOL COPS mission, and also especially if the EU is going to participate in the kind of verification mechanism to ensure that both sides are complying with this roadmap. Thank you.
Thank you, Mose. We had already a reaction on this, including with a High Representative tweet. So our reaction is that the plan to disarm Hamas, if fully implemented, would be a constructive approach towards peace, and we have already welcomed this peace deal brokered by the US with the full support of Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, and also Nikolai Mladenov on our side. A lot needs still, however, to be done for this to work, and also success, as we know, depends on the full commitment of all parties. Now, from our side, we stand ready to support for the next steps, including the entry of the National Committee and the International Stabilization Force. We have our 2 EU missions already on the ground that play an important role in the support of the Palestinian state building efforts.